Welcome back to Pillow Talk. I'm Christian.
And I'm Libby.
If you follow us on social media, you may already know, but we are excited today to share some news.
We're pregnant.
And it's a girl. If you know Libby and or follow her on social media, you know that hasn't been the easiest journey for us to have a second child. And so we will talk a little bit about the pregnancy journey, including loss and potential infertility. So if that's something you are sensitive to, feel free to skip this episode. We 100% understand that, and we would love to respect that for everyone.
Yeah, we're going to try and keep it pretty summed up. Obviously, there's a lot of details. There's a lot of traumatic things that happen, but I don't really want to go into those details quite yet. So we'll keep it pretty brief.
But it is something that Libby was very open about, and I was very proud of her for that, because it is something that a lot of people experience, but it is very hush-hush, and people don't talk about it, even though it is a normal thing. So it's something that I'm really happy that she has been open about with other people.
And I feel like people just expect, like, if you experience miscarriage, I feel like people who haven't experienced it or people who are just like following your journey for whatever reason, just expect you to get over it right away. And that's not the case at all. We've experienced 2 miscarriages and a chemical pregnancy in all between April and October of last year. And it's a lot mentally, physically, emotionally. But ultimately we knew we wanted to keep trying as long as we had the okay from our doctors, because we really, really wanted to have another baby. So,
and ultimately we did the testing. Libby had everything come back okay. I did blood work and everything came back okay. And ultimately,
which is honestly such a weird thing. Like, you want your results to be okay and look good and stuff,
but you want answers.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want answers. Like, why isn't this working? Why does this keep happening? What can I do to make a difference? And so, anyway, we'll kind of backtrack here. When Elliot, if you didn't know, we have a daughter who is 21 months old. When she was about 7 or 8 months, we decided that we wanted to start trying again because we wanted to have our kids close in age, and I want a lot of babies.
Not happening.
Yes, it is. And so we started trying. It took us 2 or 3 months to get pregnant, which is great. We were excited. But from the get-go with that one, things were kind of off. Just from if you're in the trying to conceive world, you know what HCG is and things like that. If not, it's your blood work to tell you your numbers, your levels, to determine whether or not the pregnancy is viable. So we did a lot of blood work with that one because the numbers would go up and then they'd come down and then they'd go up again. And normally when they come down,
it's not good.
It's not good. So there was just a lot of confusion. There was a lot of back and forth between doctors. At one point, they thought maybe we had twins and lost one, and that would explain why it went up and down. But eventually, something was just wrong, and we ended up miscarrying in April. And then they told us just give it some time and start trying again when you're ready. I mean, after one miscarriage, they don't really do testing or send you to a clinic or anything like that. So it was just wait and see. And so we waited
couple months.
Yeah, we started trying again in June, and we got pregnant in July. And I don't want this to sound like come off in a weird way or anything, but we don't necessarily have an issue getting pregnant. It's having the pregnancy like stick is where my body tends to fail. And so we didn't really have an issue getting pregnant again. We found out in July we were pregnant again. We ended up miscarrying again in August. So, I mean, it was pretty similar to the first experience, except this time everything looked good. Numbers looked good. Ultrasound looked good. And all that stuff. So, yeah.
It's a really crappy thing to have happen, especially after one. The second one, you're like, okay, we're going to just get through this and it'll be okay. And you start to like tell your family and friends. And that was the point for us the second time that it got kind of off the tracks. And we're both on the same thought process of wanting to tell people the good news and
Yeah, we
let
like
that shine.
whenever
instead
we
of,
know, we just feel like, why not celebrate that pregnancy like while you have it?
and if people are going to find out that you lost it either way, if it happens. And so that was where we're like, hey, let's tell people. And so we had just told a couple people the second time, and it happened again.
Literally like the next day.
So then we were referred to a doctor in Des Moines, and
Fertility clinic.
Libby had blood work done, and everything came back good. And so they wanted
Blood work, ultrasound. I had a HSG procedure done, and
I had to get blood work done to confirm that there was nothing on my end that was bad. So the results came back and they were all okay. And the doctor pretty much said, hey, I think you could get pregnant right now and have no issues. Fortunately, we have good news, and that's that we're expecting a daughter in mid-August. We decided to wait this time around to announce. We didn't wait as long as Libby wanted to tell our families, and she blames me for that, even though she also caved in and also wanted to tell people, because it was so hard to keep the secret this time as we knew things were going better. And obviously after everything that has happened, there's been extra monitoring. There's been a couple early ultrasounds and stuff to make sure that there's progress.
And I've been taking hormones to help levels.
And so this time we waited until like 9 weeks. No, was it later than that?
9 or 10 weeks.
To tell our close families. And I told my boss at work just so I could kind of, have the time off if I needed for an appointment or something. But other than that, we kept it really quiet until...
I kept it really quiet.
I didn't tell anyone.
I wanted to keep it a secret until we knew the gender, and I don't know, it was just kind of fun to like keep it to us.
It was, but it was also really tough and really stupid to just keep a secret. And as soon as
maybe I was fine with it.
As soon as we got close to this appointment, we decided we could tell some of our closer friends. So last week at 13 weeks, I started to tell like my closest friends who I hadn't told. And
I take that back. I guess I decided to tell my family at 11 weeks. Yeah, because they were like planning to do things together. Well, first of all, this pregnancy has been hard physically. I've been sick all of December and January, which explains a lot of flaking on the podcast and rescheduling shoots. And
on that note, I would love to thank our guests who we have had to reschedule, and Libby's clients, and stuff like that is so hard to tell people up front because you don't want to tell too much information. So to those people who were very easy and were nice to reschedule for us, we want to thank you, because it's good to have the support even though when you don't know what you're supporting us for. And it really helped kind of ease some of that stress, because some nights Libby just needed to go to bed early, and it was as easy as that, or she was super nauseous.
Sometimes Libby didn't leave bed all day.
Right. So it was something that we kind of had to prioritize, and the podcast will be here for you guys later. So now she's feeling better.
Yeah. So what I was saying is I decided to tell my family I missed Well, we were kind of like waiting to find out around Thanksgiving if it was positive or not.
We found out the first week of December.
Yeah. So then I missed Christmas because I was sick, and I told my family I had the flu. And then my mom's birthday and my grandma's birthday and all sorts of things like that, I was way too sick to go to, but they didn't know it. And eventually I was just like, I got to tell them, because they keep making plans to do things and I keep missing out. And so I told them, and then they're like, oh, I understand. And now that we're in the second trimester, I'm feeling way better and like a completely different person. So I'm hopeful that it will stay on track like that and we can enjoy living, doing things, seeing people.
So our doctors only do ultrasounds at 20 weeks, and we decided to go to a separate thing at 14 weeks and find out the gender. It's the first time I got to go. I didn't get to go when we had Elliot. Libby was down there for a wedding and went and had an appointment to find out gender and then revealed it to me. This time I got to go and got to see the little baby. She was sitting there with her arms behind her head and kicking her feet the whole time. And it's just, that was the first time I remember crying with Elliot's pregnancy, was the ultrasound and then hearing her heartbeat for the first time. This time it wasn't quite that emotional, but it was still just like the whole time you're just so dumbfounded to just sit there and like, you can't help but smile. You're just like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like part of it for this one, we've had a hard time feeling excited for it just because of our history.
And I think that's common, and it's definitely normal after everything.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're in the second trimester now. We are far past when we miscarried the last 2 times.
Right, there's always risk, but we're out of the main risk zones.
We had an ultrasound at 7 weeks, 8 weeks. I've had 2 bedside ultrasounds, and everything looks good. Numbers look good. Baby's heartbeat is good. Baby's growing. So hopefully we can start to feel a little bit more excited.
Yeah, and that was a big reassurance. Yes, we found out the gender, but we also wanted that extra ultrasound to make sure that growth was on track and everything. They do a full anatomy scan and measure like the leg bones and check to make sure that there's a stomach and stuff like that. And everything looked good and actually measured ahead of what we thought we were at by a couple days. Yeah. The other fun part is we have already picked out a name. And
well, to be fair, it's a name that we've had for about a year.
So we're having a lot of fun trying to get people to guess the name. It is something we probably will share at some point, at least with our families. It just, for us, it's fun to be able to share that. I know some people like to wait, or they don't pick a name until really late in the pregnancy, but
or until they see the baby.
Libby is crazy and has had baby names in her phone since she was probably like 14.
I know I'm not the only one.
No, I know you're not. That's the even weirder part.
It's not weird. It's normal.
And so we've talked about it. And again, having experienced 2 losses, we kind of had gone through names several times since Elliot was born as far as what we would want for our next kids. And this name, I think we picked.
You picked it. You picked Elliot's name too.
Yeah, I'm 2 for 2. And
because he vetoes everything that I like.
We were really kind of counting on this being a girl because we have 0 boy names. And
boy names are hard.
Even before Elliot was born, we had 1 boy name and we didn't love it. We probably were going to change it. And it's definitely the hardest part. We have like 5 girl names. So if we have more kids, hopefully they are girls
when we have more kids.
Because they are the easier names to come up with and agree on.
I mean, either way, the names that we typically are drawn to and like are gender neutral.
Or at least can be used for a boy or girl and have it not be totally weird.
Yeah, and they're not usually traditional, like, at all.
Correct.
But they're not, like, super, super weird either.
Libby won't let me name our child Apple or anything that crazy.
No, so I think it would be fun if we have our audience get in on this guessing game. What do you think?
I mean, it would be interesting.
If someone gets it, we could give them the same clues that we've given our family. And if someone in our audience guesses it, we can Venmo them $5.
$5?
Yeah. I'd take it. What do you think?
I mean, if you want to guess below or comment below in this video, that'd be great with names.
Yeah, or message us. I don't care. However you want to guess.
So the first letter is somewhere between N as in Nancy and Z as in zebra.
It's in the back half of the alphabet.
It can be a boy's name, a girl's name, and is usually a last name.
Typically seen as a last name, yes.
Whatever the name is you're thinking, it's probably a little bit weirder than you're expecting.
Okay, it's not super weird. It's just we don't know. We know of 2 people.
2 or 3, and I know
with it, and we
both
don't
a boy and a girl.
Yeah, and we don't know them like in real life. They're all online people. With it as a first name. Everybody else that we know
has it as a last name.
As a last name, and still not that many.
I mean, I'm all for people guessing.
All right.
It'll be fun.
Let's do it. So if you guess the name correctly,
we'll give you $10.
All right, we'll Venmo you $10. Make it fun.
If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, make sure you go to the YouTube video or comment on Instagram on this post for the episode.
Yeah. Are those the only clues we're giving them? 2 clues. Back half of the alphabet.
Can be used as a boy's name, a girl's name, a last name.
I feel like that's all 1 clue. And it's 7 letters.
That's enough. they're not going to get it anyway. So
And it sounds good with Elliot, I think.
kind of.
Christian's kind of on the fence, but I like it. So there you have it, a brief history of our trying to conceive journey.
If you have questions, we are open about this. It's not that we want to get into like super detail, but like,
Yeah,
but if it's going to help someone, I think we would be willing to talk more about it. If you have questions about how we came up with baby names, which that'd be a fun video, actually. I know a lot of people do that. And
yeah, just whatever. And if you want to keep it private, that's totally fine. You can DM me on my personal page. I mean, I'm a pretty open book about all of it. So
it's one thing to message back and forth about it compared to put it out as a podcast or a video. So,
well, yeah. And I mean, we try to keep these Pillow Talk episodes pretty short. So we could obviously tell you a lot more in detail, like what happened, how it happened, yada, yada, yada. But we're not going to do that on here. So if you have questions, you want to talk about any of that, I would be more than happy to talk with you about it.
If you are someone who's going through this, or you know someone who's going through this, just be there to support them. It's not easy. You do get through it. Fortunately for us, we got our rainbow baby, and we're very excited. And obviously there will be more for us to talk about around that. As things get closer, we can talk about baby stuff. We can talk about all the baby clothes Libby buys. Man, now I'm giving you ideas for videos, which are actually probably pretty fun.
Baby clothing hauls.
Yeah, and or little challenge videos to find outfits or something. And there'll be all sorts of stuff we can do for that.
Like he was saying, if you're going through it, have been through it, we're here for you. We're thinking of you. And yeah, it's not a fun, happy place to be. So we get that.
Make sure you're following us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Comment below. Give us your name guesses. 7 letters. Starts with a letter between N as in Nancy and Z as in zebra.
Gender neutral.
Can be used for a boy, a girl, and or a last name.
And we'll give you $10 if you get it. The first person to guess it gets $10. Not all of you. We have a bunch more Pillow Talk episodes coming up and more Too Tired guest podcasts coming up. So we're looking forward to putting those out, and we just appreciate your support and feedback.
Comment below. We want to hear your names, or comment on the Instagram post. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.